Record. Okay.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of EPZ Unleashed Haphazard series. So, about last night, I'm double posting today because why not? Um, there was a game against the San Antonio Spurs that Philadelphia was in, and it got crazy in the second quarter. Like not just crazy because of the terrible, horrible officiating, but because Wimbignana blocked 8 shots by the second quarter, dang near. I mean, he was snatching stuff out the sky, hitting stuff off the rim. I mean, the guy is he's a cheat code for sure. He's a 2K cheat code where we were making 8 footers back in 2010. And it was nice to get that dub from him. It was really nice to get that dub from him. San Antonio has some really decent players. Vassell's back. Um, I think that they have a strong um game plan. It's not a pop game plan, but it's pop-ish, if that's what you want to call it. Pop-esque. Kobe, get down and go to your box. Kobe. Anywho, um, so I don't know the way this lady was calling these plays, these calls, these technicals. She was doing it as if she had alternative motives. And I know everybody thinks, oh, if the officiating doesn't go towards you, then, you think something's afoot. Yeah, I do. But she was just making it so obvious. She called she called every single thing that she could on Philly. Everything. Including ejecting two of our players. Like that was ridiculous, and I also think it lit a fuel under our players, especially um your boy um Caleb Martin. He got one bad call, and he was like, "Oh, okay." He did foul the guy, but it just was minuscule. It wasn't like these blatant fouls that they're doing on Maxey. Maxey's getting out there getting pummeled. Yabusele was getting pummeled. But the thing I like about it was that none of them gave up. None of them pouted. They still complained, a little bit, but not not anymore because they were throwing. She was throwing people out for real. And they just started playing harder. They started being more grittier. I haven't seen them play a more gritty game since the playoffs last season. So it was really really good to hear. Um, I am very impressed with Tyrese's growth. He first was taking it to the rim, getting it blocked, and he adjusted and he was successful. He started doing floaters. He started blazing past his defender. He was shooting threes. I swear, Tyrese Maxey deserves to be a starter on Kobe D. Anthony Mendoza. Go to your box. Go to your box. I go to your box. Girl, he was up there like, Kobe, go to your box. Excuse me, people. Kobe, box in. And he's trying to take Kayla's sandwich. She ain't not gonna have that. That's not going down like that. Did you put any kind of sweetness on there? Yuck. Anywho, don't let me yuck your yum. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, you can't. I'm still on it.
You still go ate it. Um, I mean, I didn't want haphazard to be about basketball, but it's basically about what's on my mind, and that's on my mind. Marvelous Tyrese Maxey. I think that should be really fitting for him. The franchise is also a great name for him. Um, but he showed so much poise. and I was there for it. I was, screaming at the TV as per usual. It was a really good game, really good game. When it got to crunch time, when San Antonio did take the lead, and your boys started coming back, it was like they stopped doing what they usually do. Guess what Nick Nurse did? Brought Kyle Lowry out there. Oh, even though Kyle Lowry scored 6 points for us, some pivotal threes. And it took a great charge. I just don't think I don't know. He shouldn't be on the floor as much as he is on the floor. Shout out to Reggie Jackson. He got some PT. Not a lot, but he got some. Shout out to Yabusele. He filled in the shoes for not only Drummond but also KJ Martin. We were down three bigs last night: Joel Embiid, and Andre Drummond, and KJ Martin. Get well soon, guys. We're missing the effects of Jared McCain, and I don't think we'll be seeing him anywhere south of or anywhere north of the All Star game. To be real with you, it sucks. So, gosh, a meniscus tear like that's just like, oh, that's a season ender. That and an Achilles isn't a season ender for sure. But get well soon, guy. Get yourself together, get it all good and popping, and we'll see you next season, or maybe even in the playoffs. Um, I probably, for one, would not bring him back in the playoffs, even if he was healthy for it, because the playoffs are a different kind of beast. And if you ain't played the whole season and you try to come into the playoffs, you might just get injured or re-injured. So we'll see you next season in training camp. Um, we'll see how it goes down. That rookie of the year was definitely his. I said it before and I'll say it again. That rookie of the year was definitely his. So, besides basketball, I wanted to talk about coworker cohesiveness. And if you work a job to where you interact with other coworkers, I'm not saying like where you see them but you don't interact with them. I'm talking about interaction with coworkers. How do you how do you how are you? Like, are you the type to um not speak, you say hi, but not speak, not interact as much as possible? Or are you the type of person that enjoys small interactions? Um I have two shifts where my helpers have to interact with each other. So let's ask Kayla. Kayla,
Just eating.
when you have a coworker here, do you feel like a forced interaction or is it more organic?
Um, it's forced because I don't like people, but it's organic because it's required in the workplace.
It's required. So when you say required, like it's mandated?
Yeah,
How so?
because if I live, she has to pull, so we have to communicate. So we can't just be on the.
That's communication. I'm not talking about communication, I'm
No,
talking interaction.
we have
Ah,
to. Who did I have that kind of conversation with? When me and a girl used to work together, it used to just be, "Are you ready? You're ready. 1, 2, 3. You're ready." No conversation when we came on here and sat down, and that made for a really annoying 3 hours
right.
every morning. But then when we opened up and we started talking, that just made it more easier. And it is still that 1, 2, 3. You ready? On go, blah blah blah. It is still that because it's still work, but it makes it easier to be like, okay, I can digest the faces and the mannerisms that you use on a daily basis, and I know that you don't mean it in a malicious way because
Mm-hmm.
my face interprets your face as malicious, and I want to hurt you.
Yeah. So you want to be violent in the workplace.
Yeah,
That's not okay.
even outside it,
Oh,
we can be right though.
You're pretty aggressive.
I'm not aggressive. I'm
What's
so
that
nice.
called? What's that called? You're very nice, but you're also aggressive. Kobe, get off my window now. Kobe, you gonna be? I didn't even let you out your box yet. What are you still doing out there? He said, "Mama, I don't care about none of that. I'm gonna get her crumbs when she done, and I'll be done with it." Okay, so excuse me. So you said that the silence between you guys for
It's
those
loud.
was really loud. Okay, so what about now that you guys have a softer communication, if they were to come into work in a bad mood or a bad day, um, would that,
Annoy me, yes.
well, not just annoy you, but would that change? I mean, you guys still work, you guys still do your job. Um, but would it make you, since you guys have softened the edges of your communication, would that make it more easier for you to be like, hey, what's wrong? Or hey, you okay? Or, want to be more um
It's easier to
helpful.
digest the interaction because we have some
A
type of
rapport.
communication. Um, so it's easier to digest whenever she's had a bad day and comes to work and is not in a good mood because I listen. But sometimes I don't like to listen.
Because you're aggressive.
No, because maybe because some of the things and how things get said I don't agree with, so I tune out and I shut up because some people don't want your words; they just want the man.
Your ear. Okay. So let's take, for instance, the lady that was here this morning.
It stressed me out from trying to watch TV with
Excuse
you.
me. She's more interactive and
Yes,
more talkative.
yeah, I
Is
agree with
that
that.
kind of personality more annoying or more
It's easier.
easier? Okay. Got that. Okay. I see. So
How you interviewed my kid yesterday, and now you interviewing me?
I'm not
I
interviewing
should
you.
have
I'm
brought her.
having a conversation with you.
$2.
It was a good podcast yesterday. And if you haven't heard the podcast I had with an 8-year-old, that was released this morning. What's today's Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday morning. It was released this morning. So, let me ask you, what kind of day would be an excellent day for cohesiveness with your coworker?
What do you mean?
Would it be like a kind of coworkers that you see every day and where you back and forth give each other's coffees, maybe a spot of tea?
That's one of my old job.
They was giving you spot of teas.
We used to bring coffee every morning for each other.
Oh, was that a
Well, there was like
nice?
4 times that she brought coffee and I brought coffee, so we had 2 coffees.
And it was no problem with that.
Mhm. It
That's
was great.
fantastic. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Did they bring any crumpets?
Don't know.
Oh,
Mhm.
I see. You have pastries
Burgers.
and croissants.
Hmm.
You said burgers,
Hmm.
sandwiches
Hmm.
made with meat.
You're stressing me out.
It's ground up meat. Okay, I would like to give you a scenario. Is that a problem with you?
Yeah, bro. I
So,
mean, no, yes, it's a problem.
is a
Stop.
problem? Stop.
Yep.
Would you like for me to stop?
Mhm.
No. Okay. So, say you came to work one morning and you had a wonderful, wonderful day's rest. You was rested, you was energized, um, and you felt like, oh, today's such a brisk day in an England neighborhood. And you come through the door, and the first thing you see is a grumpy face and you say, well, hello, good morning, hot top of the morning to you. Good day, mate. And they're like, Will that throw off your day, or would you just bypass it and move on to the situation? I think that there's a third option as well. That means no answer.
What's the third option?
The third option would for you to say something.
So too ugly for your bed. It's the first night. It's gross.
So, like, the first option would be to ignore it completely. The second option would be to communicate
We've had
very
mornings like
slightly.
that.
We
No,
have.
I'm not communicating. I mean, I'll communicate to a certain extent, but I don't want your bad and negativity juju on me.
So, how do you avoid it?
We just communicate, you and I. Or whenever you're in a bad mood, because you've had mornings where you're in a bad mood. And it's not that you're essentially like a coworker, if you think of it.
I am.
I
I don't get paid. Bloody wankers. I don't get a spot of tea. Will you listen?
Okay, so there's been mornings where I came in and other people were just not in a good mood and I don't like the damper. And then there's also mornings where you're just not in a good mood, but me and the other person are in a good mood. We just communicate over it.
Communicate over it.
Your mood or their mood.
Over my mood.
Mm-hmm. Normally I talk about my kids.
Okay. But that's with me.
That's lovely.
You have to see me for 3 hours. That person, maybe even more than 3 hours, actually. It's like 3, 4, 5.5.
I know.
So don't act like you don't love it. Don't act like that. Don't act like you don't love it. So with the coworker that you're going to be there for 2.5 hours with, don't you think that dynamic would be different?
If you're not even listening to yourself, you're on your phone.
I'm saying, wouldn't that dynamic be different? Because it's the coworker. It's not me. It's the coworker to where
She left at 3 something in the morning and came back and it's 8.
you stop talking about the stinking Rinkin TV show. Oh my gosh. No, 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 no. I'm listening, Kayla. Kayla is not being very cool.
What was the question?
Again, you have to speak with me.
Yes.
So you would have to deal with me and my tutor, my disgruntledness. But with them, how would your interaction be? Because
Don't deal with it.
you would just ignore it.
Okay.
Would you want to be helpful to your coworker?
If they have a problem and something's bothering them, then they typically will open their mouths and say something about it. And if they're looking for an opinion, I'm fine with giving it to them. But if they're just needing to vent, they can vent, but I'm probably going to tune them out.
Because you're aggressive?
No, because I just because I hold on to I have started to hold on to my own positivity and I don't want people to strip it away. So if you feed me negativity and you feed me your negative stories and you feed me your I'm in a bad mood and this is why I'm in a bad mood and you leech it onto me, then you're going to essentially take from my positivity. I don't want that because then I go home and I'm in a grumpy mood with my kids and they don't deserve that.
That
Is that a
is
straw?
totally correct. I have straws.
Not long enough.
What do you mean?
Not long enough.
You don't have to go all the way to the bottom.
I do,
Why?
so that the straw doesn't fall in it. Oh. It don't make a sound.
Oh my gosh, Kayla's blowing into her bottled water. Are you gonna drink all that bottled water
I did yesterday, did you see it?
while you're still here? Because Kobe would love that bottle. He would love that bottle. So I have to call the office
Oh,
and tell them of
Lord.
my doctor's appointment.
Sticky.
I think that having a waking me up in a horrible way is a good way to get cursed out. Very by accident, because I don't speak like that, but I really don't like to be woken up with loud things or bad news. And I feel like some of the people that come here come just to give me bad news or come to tell me a bad story or get me in a certain way, which is crazy to me. I don't understand why they do that. And it's not like, it's something that accidentally happens. It's something that happens
Multiple times,
multiple times. And
even after saying it.
after explaining that I don't like to hear things like that so early in the morning, they'll do that. Why do you think they do that?
To affect you.
Why?
Because they feed off of your energy. So if you're giving them what they want, it's just empowering them. It's just giving them that I won this. She's in a mood that I'm comfortable with her in. But they don't do it all the time. They don't do it all the time. What was it? Was it yesterday? Yesterday was a really good day. I think it was a good day for all of us.
Yeah.
Yesterday morning. I would
Probably
love to
because I was
have.
already up.
Okay, so do that more.
I fell asleep in the afternoon like I was knocked
Wake
out.
up more. Um, but they don't do that all the time, but it's a power move. It's showing you I can control you. I can control your feelings. I can control your energy. I can control your emotion. And then when you feed into it, which some of those stories that get dropped like a bomb are especially when it involves children, it involves women,
Ugh.
they're hard to let go of. Like I read one this morning, watched a video this morning, and I haven't been home since I watched it to tell him, but it's one of those stories where you're like, oh my God, did you hear what happened? Did you see about this? Did you hear this? But it's the same reason why people don't watch the news in the morning
Right.
because that changes your trajectory of your entire day.
It does.
And then if you allow that to happen, you're giving them power. That is why news sources are so powerful that they can change someone's entire life because people feed them that energy. Oh, that sounds very like
Evil.
it sounds so evil. And what's the word? Conspiracy theorists of me.
But it's true though.
It's very true. It
It's
is very
true.
true. And it's very true about the people that you allow to affect your mood. And then when you hear bad stories, you can't just push that away.
You
Some of
can't.
those stories are literally just stuff because they're so devastating.
Very. Especially mentally. Like I try to wake up in a good space mentally every day. And um yesterday because I had been up for a few hours, I've already did my praying and my thought for the day and thinking and this, that, and the other. And I had been up for a little while already. Um, I think I was almost bracing myself because it's usually always after the weekend that I hear these stories. And I was low key bracing myself to hear.
Or to get that call saying I called off.
No, After about 6 o'clock, I was like, "Oh, good, thank you." I was, I was like, "Oh gosh, she stayed wonderful." I was so, even though you came in here limping, I was like, "Yeah, she's here, great. That's fantastic." Um, so now that you said that, I'm gonna start to stop it right before it starts. Because if you're trying to take my energy on purpose, which I thought the same thing, but then I thought I was being facetious and I was thinking, that I'm just being a jerk to think that they would do something like that. But now that I'm not the only person thinking that, I think that that's very accurate, and I'm gonna nip it in the bud. I'm gonna stop it immediately because it does affect me all day. You can't hear about, somebody dying or somebody getting hurt without being infected unless you're just totally numb. And it's usually something like, oh, guess what? Remember the one I told you about? That person died. And I'm like, why would you tell me kind of information like that early in the morning? Which then I thought also too, that's the only time that we really see each other. And it's right after they get off of work. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not that coincidental. But no, I think you're 100% accurate that my energy is being sapped because they want to sap my energy. And that's terrible. That makes me feel very uncomfortable. Not just with the situation, but with the entire scope of the process. Um, I have a doctor appointment on Thursday that you're not going to be able to go with me. Aren't you excited about that?
I'm excited for my time off.
Because some months ago you were like, "Why do I have to go with you all the time? Why is it me?" So
Know that. I don't have
you
anything
did.
for you.
You did. You yelled it.
There's no proof.
It is proof
Where?
because there was a witness here. Takesha's here.
I
Or
didn't say it in a mean, malicious way.
no, you said it in
In a
a. I
joking
re-
manner.
I really mean it, but
I
I'm acting like I'm joking. I really mean this though. I don't want to go.
Like, why is it always me?
You got all my care, Kayla.
I know.
All my morning care, so
I
that's why.
know. I'm here. I know.
So I'm going to nip that in the bud. Um, and hopefully it stops. I doubt it will. So I'm gonna have to keep doing this multiple times until they really realize that I'm serious and for real about my headspace. Um, yeah, and that's great. I appreciate you having this conversation with me, Kayla.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Absolutely not. Are we done?
No, we're not done.
Okay. Darn.
Thank you guys for
Good.
joining me for this haphazard series. It's a random conversations I have with you alone or with surprise guests. And when I say surprise, I mean they're surprised that they're the guests.
I was eating
They were
and
eating.
watching my show. I was chilling over here.
But that's what happens when you come into my studio.
I don't want to do it.
Well, stay your butt out of here.
I guess I gotta call
Nope, never mind. Chop that in half. Um, don't forget to share, like, comment, give me your views on coworker cohesiveness. How do you deal with bad moods or people that don't talk or whatever it is that you deal with in your workplace, especially in home health care? Um, help me, help me so that I can help others. We can help others. You know what?
Oh.
Your time is done. Would you bloody leave? No, don't leave. Don't go
It's
nowhere.
not my time is not done. You're not about to ruin my holiday pay. I mean, unless you genuinely force me out.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. All right, well, have a good day, guys. Talk to you soon. This will be uploaded on the same day as the morning one. Because I just wanted to get this out. Take it easy. Have fun. Smile.